many reasons to cancel Tokyo Olympic next month. Japan is still in the midst of a pandemic. There are more than 1,000 people tested positive every single day. Indeed, the number of cases in Tokyo is the highest. The state of emergency in Tokyo was lifted this Sunday, but since the number of the COVID cases have not decreased significantly, people in Japan have reason to suspect that the government changes their emergency status as a political decision to declare to the world that Japan is safe to hold the Olympics. Compensation for the individuals, such as Centrelink, was only given once in April last year. Only once. Many people living in Japan live under poverty. I think there are a lot of people who think that Japan is a rich country and that they are dealing with pandemic well. Unfortunately, the answer is no. The situation is quite fucked up. Organizations that support people in poverty across Japan have reported that the lines of people lined up for soup kitchen are so much longer than before pandemic. Children's poverty is also serious. Today, there are places called Kodomo Shokudo, which means children's restaurant in various places. And volunteers provide children with free meals and safe places. This is because the government does nothing about poverty. This is because the government is creating poverty. They use taxes for the Olympics, not for the poverty of children and adults. Do you think people can enjoy the Olympics in such an inequality and at risk of COVID infection? 80% of Japanese people are against the Olympics. 80% of Japanese people are against the Olympics. It is unusual for Japanese people who do not like political statements to oppose such political things. Yes, the Olympics are more than just sports competitions. They are political. The politics of money and power. This time, many people noticed it while feeling the danger of their lives. There are so many reasons to cancel Tokyo Olympic next month. Medical system in Japan is collapsing. People who tested positive for COVID are living hellish days at hotels and at home without being able to reach the hospital for treatment. This is because the hospital does not have the capacity to accept infected people anymore. It is reported that 119 people died from being infected at home in Tokyo this year. Despite the dire situation, 500 nurses have been requested to help with the Olympics. There are already not enough nurses to respond to COVID. It's an impossible, unsafe, and unreasonable situation to pull nurses away from caring for the public. Also, recently 10,000 out of 70,000 Olympic volunteers have withdrawn from volunteering at the Olympics due to concern for the public health. It is quite possible that people who have not withdrawn may not show up on the day. People are aware that life is more important than the Olympics. The vaccination rate is the lowest at G7 and the 131st in the world as of May. Did you know that athletes who come to Tokyo have to plead that it is not the IOC responsibility if they get infected with COVID-19 and die? The IOC, International Olympic Committee, says it's safe to come to Olympics, but they say they don't take any responsibility. How dare you? Neither the Japanese government nor the IOC are desperate to take responsibility. It's like a war. Many friends in Japan say that forcing the Olympics now is like a war. This is because World War II was also forced upon people, despite the harm to people's lives being obvious, and many lives were sacrificed. Many war criminals did not take any responsibility and survived as they were. Powerless people died. Many Asian people under Japanese colonization were killed by the army. Japanese government has not taken the responsibility so far. Similar to the World War II, the government is trying to push ahead with the Tokyo Olympics, knowing that people's lives will be sacrificed without any responsibility for endangerment for people's lives. We have to stop this war. There are so many reasons to cancel Tokyo Olympics next month. Due to recent climate change, the temperature in Tokyo is rising. Since 2013, when the Olympic Games were decided to be held in Tokyo, many experts have said that it is dangerous to hold the Olympic Games outdoors in the summer in the heat in Tokyo. The last few years have been particularly hot, with many deaths from heat stroke. When the Olympic Stadium officially opened to the public in 2018, the temperature inside it was over 40 degrees. In the summer of 2019, more than 5,000 people were taken to the hospital due to heat stroke overheat. And now, Tokyo in June has already exceeded 30 degrees. With this heat issue, is the Olympic Games, which begins on July 23rd, midsummer, and continues into August, really safe for athletes, officials, and spectators? After all, it is clear that the Olympic Commission does not prioritize human life. There are so many reasons to cancel Tokyo Olympic next month. Given all this, it's clear how risky it would be to host the Olympics in Tokyo next month. But even without this pandemic crisis, I would like to explain how disastrous the Olympics are. First, I would like to talk about the harm caused by building the Olympic Stadium in Tokyo. First of all, the place where the stadium for the Olympics is built was originally a place of relaxation for the citizens, popular gathering point, and homeless people also lived there. Due to the construction of this stadium, residents of nearby apartments, despite having lived for a long time, were forced to evict without being given a chance. Homeless people were kicked out without any chance to claim their rights. The gathering place for people was crushed. A trial on this eviction is still ongoing. The timber used to build the stadium has also been criticized by the international community for illegally logging the indigenous area of the Indonesian rainforest, where Bornean orangutans live. It was signed by an international NGO for violating the Olympic Charter's promises of realizing a sustainable Olympics. And there was a movement against deforestation by the Borneo indigenous people, the Penam. Also, during the construction of the stadium, 3 construction workers died in an accident and overheat, and 1 killed themselves due to overwork. Due to exploitative work conditions, the Switzerland-based International Trade Union has even urged the JOC, Japan Olympic Committee, to improve the working environment. The construction of the stadium alone has already caused such a human rights violation. you think was spent on this stadium? It was 150 billion yen from tax, nearly 2 billion Australian dollars. Even though the children are in poverty, they put so much tax on this stadium. Compensation was cut for evacuees from the Fukushima nuclear accident who still cannot return to their hometowns. Yet, $2 billion of public money was spent on sports stadiums. I can't stop my anger. There are so many reasons to cancel Tokyo Olympic next month. Did you know that the nuclear emergency declaration has not been lifted since the Fukushima nuclear accident occurred in 2011? Did you know that there are radioactive hotspots in Tokyo, which is only 200 kilometers away from Fukushima? Did you know that evacuees who are still unable to return to contaminated land are scattered throughout Japan and around the world, and are spending time without compensation from the government and Tokyo Electric Company, who was responsible for the accident? The Japanese government does not recognize the relationship with the frequent occurrence of thyroid cancer in children and many health problems afflicting people in Fukushima and the surrounding areas. I will never forget what Prime Minister Abe said at the time to invite Olympics in Tokyo. Prime Minister Abe said, "Fukushima is under control." It's a big lie. Even now, the nuclear accident is still ongoing. I can't support the Olympics invited by such a big lie. After the Chernobyl accident in 1986, the building that exploded was covered by concrete. But the Fukushima nuclear power plant still disposes radioactivity into the atmosphere without any cover and continues to flush radioactive substances into the ocean for the past 10 years. The Japanese government decided to diffuse a large amount of higher concentration radioactivity, including tritium, 2 years later. It's an international crime. If sea creatures die, the sea will die. If the sea dies, human beings cannot survive. The Olympics are being promoted by hiding this catastrophic situation. People are forced to be silent. But we are speaking up. Finally, I have a message for everyone in Australia. You probably know that Brisbane was chosen for the 2032 Olympics. The Olympics have always ignored, eliminated, and killed people. The proof is in what is happening in Japan, as I have shared. Even in Rio, Brazil, 5 years ago, many inhabitants were evicted from the poor favela area. Exclusion of residents has already begun in the next Olympic host city, Paris, France. 10 years from now, the Olympic Games in Brisbane will surely face similar difficulties and disenfranchisement. Think of it as you 10 years from now, not something that doesn't matter to you. That's why I want you to listen to the opposition to the Olympics in Japan and around the world, and find out what's happening and what has happened in the past. And please raise your voice together. Don't let anyone sacrifice anymore because of Olympics.